Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stretton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults. Plus, the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stretton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manapara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stretton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults. Plus, the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stretton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manopara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stretton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults. Plus, the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stretton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manopara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au, and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stratton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults. Plus, the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stratton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manapara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au, and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Want to get involved in your community? There are so many benefits in becoming a volunteer at City of Playford, including meeting new people, developing new skills, sharing your talents, improving your employability, as well as enhancing your own mental health and well-being.
If you want to learn more about how to volunteer with us, visit playford.sa.gov.au/volunteers. Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stretton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults, plus the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stretton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manapara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Want to know what's happening in the community? Subscribe to our e-newsletter, Playford News, at playford.sa.gov.au, and you'll be on top of stories, news and what's happening in Playford. It's local news for local people.
Welcome to tonight's Strategy and Services Committee meeting. I open the meeting here tonight at 7 p.m. Moving on to the attendance record. We've got an apology from Councillor Antoulis. Is everyone else present? By the looks, yes. Moving on to Item 2, confirmation of minutes. We've got a recommendation that the minutes of the Strategy and Services Committee meeting held 11th of March 2025 be confirmed as true and accurate record of proceedings. I'll put that to the floor. going on. Sorry, Councillor Small-Smith, happy to move that way?
Move that way.
Thank you. Councillor Baker?
Second.
Second that, thank you. Is there any comment or discussion? If not, I'll put that to vote. All those in favour? All those against? I declare that carried. Item 3, are there any declarations of interest? No, if not, I'll move on to item 4. Sorry, Mayor Doherty.
Thank you, Mr Chairman. I declare a material conflict of interest in item 5.4, 2025 confidential orders review, as I have declared material or general conflicts of interest on some of the items that are present in that matter. I won't participate in the debate or be present in the room for this item during its discussion.
Thank you, Mayor Doherty. Councillor Marsh.
Yeah, thanks. Happy to declare a conflict of interest for item number 5.3, the Gawler River Flood Plain Management Authority, as I'm one of the elected board members and I'll be leaving the room.
Thank you, Councillor Marsh. Councillor Baker.
Thank you, Mr Chairman. I declare an interest in item 5.4, a material interest.
Thank you, Councillor Baker.
Oh, sorry.
Are there any other declarations? If not, I'll move on to item 5.1. Page 6. Oh, sorry, excuse me, I've missed the item 4 deputations. Obviously, there's no deputations. Item 4 is nil. Moving on to 5.1, fees and charges on page 6. We have a staff recommendation before us. The Council adopts the schedule of approved fees and charges for 2025-26 as on the screen. Councillor Smiljanec, you're happy to move that way?
I would like to make a...
Sorry. Sorry, bear with me 1 second. Yeah, okay. No worries, thank you. Thank you, Councillor Smiljanec.
Thank you very much, Presiding Member. I would like to make an amendment to the staff recommendation to add a dot point of CEO is authorised to make minor adjustments that don't alter the intent of the document.
Thank you. Would you like to speak to that at all?
I'll talk a bit later at the end. Thank you.
Yep, okay, thank you. Okay, do I have someone who's happy to second that? Councillor Onysands?
Happy to second that.
Thank you. And do you wish to speak to that at all?
After Councillor Tanya Smiljanec spoke on it, that's fine. I'll wait.
Yeah,
would you like me to speak now? Okay.
You do need to speak now, Councillor Onysands,
okay.
yes.
Well, this is a very good report. I appreciate the detailed breakdown of the fees and charges presented in the report. It's clear that a careful approach is being taken to ensure compliance with Section 188 of the Local Government Act. And obviously the report highlights the importance of keeping the community informed about how these fees and charges are set, especially those dictated by the state government, which can affect budgeting for both council and residents. And I also support the rationale behind aligning fee increases with the December CPI. It mentioned about December CPI and the wage index, as these adjustments are vital for obviously maintaining the quality of service. However, there is a concern that I thought that I was thinking, and this is regarding the impact on ratepayers. So my question, I've got a question. So are there any explorations of ways to mitigate unintended impacts, especially to struggling households? How do we plan to address if something occurs along the way as we implement the fees and charges?
All right, thank you for the question. Who would be able to vote? Can we have Ms. Trish Price? Luke, sorry.
Through the Chair, thank you, Councillor Onuzans, for the question. The fees and charges will be set for the financial year under certain delegations that are through the CEO to staff. There can be adjustments made to fees and charges throughout the year in individual circumstances.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, just clarifying, Councillor Similjanek, do you have a question or? Yep, okay, thank you.
Thank you. I do have a couple of questions and I didn't want to bring it up before. The question I do have is with regards to the Grenville Hub activities. I noticed, and this is on page 17 of the actual report of our meeting minute agenda. I just want to confirm the reasoning for GST for yes for non-members versus for members is GST included as no.
Okay, Mr. Culhane? No? Yeah, Ms. Proctor, thank you.
Thank you for the question. The reason that GST doesn't apply to CHSP funded clients and Grenville members is because that's connected with our external funding. So where it's funded through grant or Commonwealth or connected with NDIS, we don't charge GST because it's connected to a contribution. Where it's not, and it's a fee for service model, that's why those incur GST.
That's great. Thank you so much. And I do have one other question, Presiding Member, whether or not it's to this staff member, I'm not too sure. The question is regards to the animal management. So in particular, you've got a standard dog. So last year's fees were $44 for a standard dog. So this is technically not a trained dog. And I know that the staff have actually stated that only 2% of the dogs registered were trained. It does state here that a standard dog trained is actually $35 for last financial year. So that I respect those people who have gone and trained their dog. It does cost money. It does add up over the weeks that they're being trained. So I guess my question is how many were 2% of dogs that were trained or with a concession trained? And I guess the reasoning for having the total fees for this next financial year is actually going to increase the rate from the standard dog of 2.27%, which will go up to $45 for a standard dog that doesn't matter if it's trained or not, versus those 2% of dogs that have been trained. They're now going to be increasing from $35 from last financial year up to $45, which is greater than, I guess, the suggested 2.25% or 2.5% in our report. So I think I just want to understand the reasoning for this from a council staff point of view, please.
Okay, would that be Mr. Babbage? Thank you.
Through the Chair. Thank you for the question. Just so that I understand the question correctly, is it the total number of dogs that are being affected by this change?
That you have on paper that are trained, either trained or including the trained and the trained concession, please.
The total number is roughly 330 dogs out of approximately 18,000.
Okay, thank you. And just out of curiosity, was I guess the pricing to remove the standard dog trained, and it does go for all those trained circumstances that are going to be removed and then put into just the standard dog, whether they're trained or untrained pricing. Was that discussed at all to perhaps have the cost, rather than the standard dog trained to be removed? What I'm trying to say is the costing from the standard dog, the trained standard dogs from last financial year, rather than having the cost of using that cost and adding the 2.27% on that amount, rather than those dogs that were untrained.
Yep. So with the removal of those two fees, standard dog trained and standard dog trained concession, as I mentioned earlier, they make up a relatively small number of dogs in the City of Playford. The purpose of removing those two categories in particular falls into, I guess, the two categories that, first of, removing all non-standard dogs. So a non-standard dog is a dog which is non-compliant with the Act. And to the standard dog trained and standard dog trained concession, the thinking behind that was to also bring, or to incentivise bringing the dog into compliance with the Act.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Babbage. Are there any other questions or discussion? Ahmed Doherty.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My questions are in relation to the regulatory fees, which we find on page 13. So, in the current financial year, we are assessing the actual fee to be incurred under section 188 to be the actual cost. We now move to 25-26 a fees and charge range. So my question is, in the comment it says fixed fee set as per legislative requirement. So can the officers confirm that the legislative requirement has that fee range? How do we then determine that? Is that prescribed by elements within either the Local Government Act or the prescribed form? Because I would have thought if we're currently doing actual cost, has there been a change to any regulation of why we have a fee range? Because actual cost is cost recovery, or is the fee range designed to mitigate whatever a regulation may be dependent? Because I would have thought that if that was the case, we would try and get full cost recovery for whatever the fixed per legislative outcome would be.
Thank you, Medoki. Ms. Price.
Thank you. Through the Chair. In regards to the fees that are set by Council under the legislation ranging from D to H, the requirement is under there that we have to set a amount, that we can't just have actual costs. So this is tidying up some past irregularities that we've come across and making sure that we comply. In the Act, it gives an option that if you can't specifically set the fee, you can set a minimum and maximum to be able to capture a range, so that, again, from a community perspective, they have an indicative amount of where that should be sitting, opposed to just an actual cost.
So, subsequent question, in the fee ranges that we have provided today, does that actually potentially cover the actual cost that we may have incurred previously, or is there some buffer in that? And also, if we can't fix a prescribed fee or return an actual cost, who is the determining officer within those bands and ranges, and who has that delegation to pick whether we choose $1,300 for an advertised fee for an abandoned vehicle compared to $1,800? Because there is a significant difference in terms of the band range and how we manage that, because obviously each item potentially is different.
Thank you, Mr. Babbage.
Through the Chair, thank you for the question, Mayor Doherty. The example that you raised is a good one, the advertising. So what we've done there is actually provided a range which will ensure that we can cover actual cost.
So my follow-up question, and if that is the range, then the actual cost. So just let's do a live example: is we put an ad in the News Corp paper or in SA Today paper, and the actual cost is $1,500. is it the prerogative of staff to then, if it's in the band range, to only get the actual cost, or would we be seeking to put a bit on top of that?
In that example, we would seek the actual cost. What we are able to do is assume some administrative costs, but when we're talking about that specific one, it would be the actual cost, so whatever the quote came in as.
And is that the same for all of those that fall into the regulatory fees, either in this section or other sections related to section 188, F through to H?
Yes.
And that's a determined policy position of the team, or is that left to individual officers who assess that work to make that determination?
It's up to me as the manager to make that determination.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Councillor Smiljan, do you have another question? Sorry. Yeah.
Thank you, Presiding Member. I just wanted to confirm, could someone please explain to me this replacement residential parking permit, which is one of that new fee?
Mr Babbage, thank you.
Through the Chair, again, thank you for the question. So residents who are in that area already receive their first residential parking permit free of charge. Okay. The cost or the fee that you see in front of you is the cost of a replacement, which covers the manufacturing, printing of the permit and administrative costs.
That's great, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr Babbage. Okay, before we move, Councillor Halls. Councillor Halls.
Thank you, Presiding Member. I just wanted to ask if someone could tell us about the replacement roll of 75 bags on page 13 under the heading ventilated kitchen caddy. I'm just wondering, it's going up just under 15 cents. Are we getting much uptake on people buying those, or is this worthwhile? I mean, my idea was that they should have been free. So putting the price up is just going to make it worse if they're not using it already. If people are not buying them, why are we doing it?
Yeah. Thank you, Councillor Halls. Mr Patterson.
Thank you for the question, Councillor Halls. We do have a demand for the kitchen caddy bags, so we do have community members who come in and purchase them from us. The price is reflective of the price Norma charges us for those bags. I can't give you exact numbers of how many people actually purchase them though.
All right, I'll consider it.
Thank you, Mr Patterson. Another question? Councillor Smiljan, I'll put you on. There we go.
Thank you. Hopefully this is the last one. Look, it's just not sitting right with regards to this standard dog amount, and I was just wondering, do we make up that charge, or is that given, is that within council's role, or is this do some of those fees of that $45 for a standard dog go to any other company or business, or does that come straight to council for the fees and charges?
Yeah, Mr Babbage.
Thank you. We set the dog registration fees. What I perhaps neglected to get into earlier is that one of the intents of reducing the number of dog registrations was to actually minimise the complexity of our system. We have some councils who have something in the order of 6 or 8 dog registration types. As you will notice, we've got probably 3 times that. So yes, it is the council that chooses to set the fee.
Okay, thank you. All right, nothing further from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? All right, before we move forward, our governance team has brought something to my attention. We can't delegate the power to vary or remove a fee under the section 188(1)(d) to H. So I'm just going to go back to the mover and the seconder. I think the intention was to change the grammatical, so I'm proposing if something along the lines of council authorise the CEO to make grammatical amendments. Is it? Yeah. Yep. And is the second happy with that, Councillor Lonzans? Yep. Thank you. So if the governance can make those changes. Yep, they're done. Fantastic. Thank you. All right. If there's Councillor Solzhenitsyn, would you like to close?
Thank you for the staff for putting this report back. Obviously, you guys noticed that I was quite passionate about our fees for our dog owners. I think it's just something that it just didn't sit well with me with regards to the price increase for a trained dog going up an extra $10 essentially in one hit. So it's just something that we might have to be mindful of, and the council staff, you know, I'm sure they've got practices in place to liaise with those 300 odd dog owners and give feedback to that as well. And I guess as councillors, be prepared that we might hear something as well from our residents. But overall, very in-depth. As you can see, I added the grammatical amendments. I just noticed that just a couple little things that we can take offline. They don't alter the intent of the document at all. It is quite in-depth, and it is something that if you don't have good eyes to zoom in onto it, it's quite detailed as well. So thank you for the staff putting it together, and there's nothing further from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Smiljanic. I'll put that to the floor. All those in favour? And those against? I declare that carried. Thank you. Moving on to item 5.3, Gawler River 5.2, page 26. And we have a staff recommendation before us. Councillor Lonzans, would you like to move that way?
Yes, happy to move the staff recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to speak to that? No, thank you. Councillor Halls, you'd like to second that?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to speak?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the floor? Councillor Lonzans?
Oh, sorry.
No, if there's no questions or comments, I'll put that to a vote. All those in favour? Those against? I declare that carried. Thank you. Okay, moving on to item 5.3. We'll wait for Councillor Marsh to... So 5.3, the Gawler River Floodplain Management Authority, draft annual business plan and budget. We have a staff recommendation before us. Would someone like to move that way? Councillor Baker?
Move the recommendation.
Like to speak to that? No. Councillor Small-Smith, you'd like to second that?
I'll second it, and I don't wish to speak.
Don't wish to speak, thank you. I'll put that to the floor for any discussion or comments. If there is none, I'll put that to a vote. All those in favour? And those against? I declare that carried. Thank you. Yep. Just wait for Councillor Marsh to return. Moving on to 5.4, 2025 confidential orders review, page 76. And we have a staff recommendation. And we have a staff recommendation before us. Would someone like to move that way? Councillor Norris.
I'm not actually going to move that way. I actually need to declare a conflict of interest.
Okay.
So, sorry, I apologise. I missed it because it was right at the back. Just because of previous conflicts of interest, and one of the parties is my employer, so I'm going to remove myself from the room.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Norris. Okay, Councillor Olizans.
Yeah, happy to move the staff recommendation. I don't wish to speak.
Don't wish to speak.
Thank
you. Councillor Halls, happy to second that.
Yes, thank you.
Would you wish to speak? No. Okay, I'll put that to the floor for any comments or discussion. If there is none, I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? And those against? I declare that carried. Thank you. All right, moving on to item 6.1, the Events Activation Quarterly Update. Mr Madigan, thank you.
Through the Chair. Good evening, everyone. Pleasure to be here to talk to you about events and activation. So the purpose of this evening is to talk to you... See if I can get this to work, I'm sorry. Why is that not moving? Use those ones. Okay. Sorry about that. These newfangled machines. So the purpose of this evening is to talk to you, to give you an update around events and activation. We do this quarterly. We last spoke to you back in December, so just after the Playford Carols event. Alrighty, so I'm going to jump straight in, talk to you about civic events tonight, kicking off talking about Australia Day. So back in January, we had a very hot Australia Day, but it was a lovely, well-attended event, which was really great to see. The team did a great event. It was really nice. It was great to be there. We had about 3,000 attendees, so we were down about 800 on the year before. So we feel there was a couple of reasons around that. One, it was impacted by the heat. So the team did really well getting ready for that event, but then for people coming on the day, as the day started to get towards midday, it was getting very hot. And also it was on a Saturday, and the Mayor informs me that when we have it on that day, that impacts the way people travel over the weekend, and it's fairly regular when that occasion occurs that we have less people. So we're impacted by a couple of things there. Nonetheless, great event, 3,000 people there. We did over 5,000 servings of breakfast, which was great. We were only a few hundred down on the year before, so we did a similar amount, but we were cooking for a little bit longer this year. The serving of the breakfast went really well. We had comments around how well organised the barbecues went, because it is a big feat to coordinate all those volunteers and get the breakfast out to everybody. Over 3,000 eggs and bacon, this is getting down to the business here, and over 2,200 fruit cups as well. So great to see community enjoying those, the free food. Looking at how people felt about coming to the event, we did look at around 187 responses coming back from the survey. People were really happy about the event. It's showing us that they really enjoyed coming. They met their expectations, that they wanted to come back to that event again, and I think really importantly that 97% of them felt that there was a really strong sense of community pride. So that's hitting the nail on the head around what we'd like to be achieving with Australia Day. So really, really nice to see it's come together like that. There is some comments there on the right-hand side of the page, which I won't read through, but you're welcome to have a bit of a look before I change the slide in a sec. So pictures tell 1,000 words. We've got a few pictures, so we're going to tell 3,000 words. This is the first one. We've got the people receiving their Citizen of the Year award, so a very big, important part of the event. It was great to see. And then some happy people enjoying Australia Day as well. So citizenship. So Of course, we've been working through with citizenships again since we last spoke. We've run ceremonies in January and again in March with just above 70 people coming through in each of those. We've had 487 conferees already this financial year. We're looking to run another one in May, so we'll be up around that sort of 560 conferees for the year. These ceremonies work really well now. We're sort of a fairly well-oiled machine, and no matter how many times you go, it's lovely to see community there being so happy on the evening. It's a really important part of their lives, and it's a special part of our jobs to be able to be part of that as well. Anzac Day. So I mentioned to you when I spoke last time, there was a question, we're proceeding using the normal format. We're still proceeding using the normal format. We have had some issues, which some of you may have heard about over the last little while around the vigil and getting volunteers to the vigil. So we rely on volunteer groups and service groups to come along and provide people to do that overnight process. It has been quite difficult. We had a group withdraw. We have had another group come in, and pleased to report that the vigil's going ahead as per usual, so nothing's changed, and really pleased to see that we can support that again this year. The entertainers are pretty much the same as last year. We have London coming on for the vigil, and then we have Rachel Learcar in the morning as well. So pretty much similar repeat performance to last year, which we know goes well. We get lots of community members coming along, so looking forward to that happening. Planning's going well, meetings with the volunteer groups are happening and proceeding, so we're looking forward to delivering that one at the end of the month. General events and activation. So I'm going to dwell on Fringe a little bit. We've just been through the Fringe process, so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what we've been up to with Fringe over the last month, or probably last month. So what were we aiming to achieve? We're really setting out to activate these spaces here, in particular the Shedley Theatre, the civic spaces and the Prince George Plaza as well, and bring the Fringe to our community to help our communities to connect with each other and bring that art and enrichment and that enjoyment of being together. So that was the focus of why we're delivering the work, and in particular around the Fringe Fridays events that I'll talk about was around creating vibrancy on the plaza and seeing people coming and enjoying that space. So what did we do? We registered this entire space as a Fringe event. So we had the Shedley registered, Great Hall registered, the Prince George Plaza registered. So we've really gone out after that this year, so we haven't done that for some time. And then there's a couple of different aspects I want to talk to you about tonight. One of those was around we sponsored a series of shows through the Shedley. We contracted one act, big act, which was Tommy Little. So we essentially purchased that show for him to come in, and then we sold tickets and managed that show. We had some dry hires coming in because we were a Fringe venue, so we had a range of shows that I'll show you in a minute. And then we also sponsored some smaller shows. So I mentioned that to you in the last presentation, that we were going to go down that path where during a weeknight when we don't have any bookings, we actually offered 6 opportunities for groups to come in and use the theatre for free, and that we would pay for the cost of cleaning and those sorts and techs of running the show, and then we would recoup 20% of ticket sales. So that was an opportunity we went out with through an expression of interest process where all the groups got an opportunity to apply. That was reviewed, and we had 6 shows that we moved forward with. And then we had the 5 activation events, the Fringe Friday events that we ran on the plaza, which you would have all heard about recently. We were spending about $5,000 each around those, so we weren't spending massive amounts of money. It's not like Australia Day where we were spending $130,000, $140,000 odd dollars. These were fairly small events where we were trying to get just a nice, interesting activation happening on the plaza. And in terms of what we had going on, we had kids' activities there, we had fairies blowing bubbles, we had a snake charmer, we had the 2 Audreys were there, which I felt were rather entertaining. We had food trucks there for people to enjoy the food, places to sit, just trying to create that vibrancy in the plaza space. So these are the shows that we ran. So Tommy Little was the one that we contracted, and then Akmal came in as a dry hire. He was actually running 8 shows across Adelaide, so I'm impressed that he managed to deliver that many shows, and he still sold tickets. 64 loved coming here for Fringe. They came and did 2 shows, and then Santana was something that was happening at the same time that we contracted separately. And then we had the range of shows, the smaller shows across the bottom that we sponsored during the weekdays. So in terms of how did that go, in terms of the numbers, Tommy Little did quite well. We had 220 tickets. There's something in Adelaide where people buy tickets really late, and we had that they weren't buying. They weren't at the last minute. They came in and bought them, so I'm really happy to see we sold 220 tickets. Akmal was similar, even though it was the dry hire. 64 sold out pretty much a couple of shows, and then there was only 80 tickets of 120, so that was a show in the function room, which is something a little bit different than we normally do. And then we had the range of shows across the bottom where we had varying success, to be honest. The Beating Up the Beatles, she'd only sold about 25 tickets, and she rang us that week and said, I want to cancel. And we said, look, are you sure? Like, we're keen to go ahead no matter what. We want to support you. So she decided to cancel that event, so that one didn't go ahead. Three Little Pigs was a kids show. That went quite well. We had 100 people into the theatre. The Lucky Comets and the tribute show to the Allman Brothers, not quite so successful. The one that we thought wouldn't go quite so well was Delicia. Amazed us, and they sold 375 tickets, essentially sold out the theatre, so well done to them. In saying that, they did purchase some tickets themselves and were giving tickets away to people to promote their business as well, which is a great opportunity. And then we had 65 people come through to Turning Point, so some varying success around those. The Fringe Fridays, you can see some of the marketing that we had available going into the Fringe Fridays, so we did have quite a strong marketing campaign around this. In terms of we surveyed people coming into the event around what they thought. We had 45 people complete those surveys across the events. And what we saw is the people that came actually had quite a lovely time. They really enjoyed it. 96 people saying they were happy, 93% saying they'd come back to that event again in the future. And importantly, a lot of those people lived in Playford, with a lot of them coming in that close area from around Elizabeth as well. So pleasing to see that people came, they enjoyed the vibrancy, because that's what we're looking for. And I've said to a few people, the plaza just felt lovely, and you can imagine in 5 years' time when the hotel's there and everything's happening, that's what we're looking to achieve on the plaza, of community being there and being happy and enjoying themselves. Some more pictures, big Fringe sign, you can't go wrong with a big Fringe sign. And you can see we had kids' games out, places to sit, and food trucks for people to come along and enjoy as well. So what did we achieve? So we were definitely a visible part of Fringe. We were out there, we were promoting it. People knew that it was happening close to home, which was great. We really promoted it through a range of different events, letting people know that it was there. So through different types, really strong presence on social media. We had signs up on the billboard. We had a story in the Bunyip. So we really went out on a limb to let people know they could be a part of this. We averaged around 200 people per event on the plaza, and over 1,900 people through the Shedley, through those shows that I mentioned before during that time. So what we really created was that vibrant atmosphere and a place to go. And there was a grandmother there that approached one of our staff and mentioned that she was so happy that we'd run this event, because she regularly goes out on a Friday night with her children and she doesn't have anywhere to go, but this was just a nice, safe place to go with the kids, something to do on a Friday night. She was really appreciative, so it's nice to hear that feedback coming through. What could have been better? We would have liked, like I said, we weren't trying to get thousands of people into this event, but we would have liked a slightly higher attendance on those Fringe Friday events, so there could be some work to do around that. And we think that we ran 5 events, perhaps less is more, so we could do slightly less events and put more focus around that. And also we had on the first event, there was something on in Salisbury at the same time. So if we were to have less events, we could offset that a little bit and make sure that we manage those events a little bit better. So there's an opportunity for improvement there. And I think the other thing is we were thinking with the activations around the shows, around sort of having that spread out over Fringe, but they probably weren't incredibly successful. So one of the things we could do is on a Friday night offer the same thing to bigger acts, where we offer the show for the theatre for free and get them to come in and try and get some bigger acts while we were running a Fringe Friday. So we'd have Tommy Little, or people like Tommy Little, people like Akmal the 64. Making more people come in and be part of that event could be an opportunity to improve it in the future. And in terms of what does that look like, we're not 100% certain that we're going ahead with this again at the moment. We've had some initial conversations. We need to get together and discuss that more and review the whole package a little bit more and come back with some recommendations through to the delegation with Sam around that. But overall, it was a good thing to deliver community. We certainly enjoyed doing it, and it was great to see people there having a great time. SALA, so we're actively, so we provide a rebate for artists to be part of this. We've mentioned this to you previously. We're actively advertising for artists to come and take part at the moment, so that happens over the next month or so, and then the actual, mental blank. The actual activity happens in August, so it's later in the year. We've had one artist that's come in and is locked in to be in the Great Hall. We've got another two that are expressing strong interest, and we're still working through that at the moment. So we're actually starting to talk about whether there's some opportunity in our other venues around Playford as well, and we'll get a few more coming through. With this, if you know an artist that may want to participate in SALA and have a rebate to present in Playford, please let us know, and either get them to reach out to us or let us know and we can reach out to them. We'd certainly be pleased to hear about it. This is the artist that's locked in, so we're looking for some vibrant colours coming into the Great Hall, which should be pretty exciting. Other general events that we've run recently, Barry Warren Reserve renaming that, we've obviously in the last week or so we've delivered that. We felt that event went well, council-led event delivered on 1 April, really well attended by the family members and the club members as well, and it felt like a nice respectable event, so as a team we're really pleased to be part of that. Virginia Street Party, we provided some minor sponsorship into this event that happened on the 30th of March. So we funded a sensory area out of our general events budget. We also funded some history boards that the marketing team prepared that were there to show at the Institute to show about the history and the changes in Virginia. We had some support around bins and watering of the car park as well, so using our outdoor workforce to support that event in a minor way within the realms of what we could do. And then the events team also worked quite closely with their team, just consulting about the event that they were delivering, making sure they were thinking about the right things, and also letting them know the suppliers that we use for a range of different things as well to help them out around the event. So feedback from the sponsor was that went quite well, so it was good to be able to support that for people in Virginia to be able to come out and enjoy it. The events and activation calendar, we've got some disappointment in there. The Easter Fun Fest, which we've run regularly for some time, has been cancelled. So hopefully they may come back at some stage in the future. Otherwise, we'll get on the front foot and see what else we can bring into the calendar in future years to be able to support a similar type event. We've got Anzac Day coming up. We've discussed that. Citizenship ceremony we've discussed. The volunteer event, the civic volunteer event, that's coming up in May. We've shifted that forward a little bit this year. So this is around all the people that come and support us at our civic events. Really, really important that we express our thanks for that. We'd be appreciative if anyone would like to come along and take part of that event. We'd love to see you there. Playford Science Fair is on this year. I think it's their 10-year anniversary. We're supporting that to have a lower ticket price this year. I think it may even be free. And we're looking to, this year they'll be utilising more of the building. They'll be using the function room and the Great Hall and into the Shedley. So we're looking for a bigger science fair this year, which will be exciting to see the kids coming through the building. We've got SALA on. That's actually going into the next financial year. I haven't put it on there. We have got a winter activation that we're thinking about at the moment, so that's sort of being discussed and we need to bring that up internally before we can talk about that a bit more, but we do have something else that we're planning there in the general event space as well. Overall budget position, I'll just be brief around this. Both Carols and Australia Day were a little bit underspent, so we had some growth funds that came in. We didn't have time to utilise those, so they both came in a little bit under budget. Anzac Day, because of those growth funds, we're bang on budget is our forecast around that. That's looking good. Thank you events, we'll be bang on budget for that one as well. So overall, there should be a bracket around that 11,000. We're about 11,000 under in the civic events budget, so everything's proceeding quite well for that this year. We're on target to deliver it how we'd like to. Now, I'd just like to finish off, and I touched on this last time, we want to get the balance around coming and speaking to you around events, so we've been doing quarterly updates. We're concerned that we're coming and talking to you too often with a quarterly. We're not sure how much information you need around this. We've got a recommendation that we'd like to move to 2 updates a year, so we'd come in now around April. So like now, we've just been through our busy season. We can talk about everything that's happened, talk about what's going to happen at Anzac Day, and then we'd come back in September each year and talk about this is what's happening with Carols, this is what's happening with Australia Day, and this is what's happening with our general events. And we feel that's kind of a nice way to bookend those seasons and to not overload you with information. So we're keen, so we will move that way. It's an opportunity for you to ask questions and make comments in a minute. So if anyone feels strongly and would love us to be here every quarter, I'm absolutely happy to come along and speak quarterly, but we'll love to hear from you around that. So I'll finish there and open up for questions. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mr Madigan. Councillor Norris.
Thank you. Look, just on that note, I think the months that you've picked are pretty appropriate for going into certain seasons and event seasons. I just wanted to query about with the fringe hours, because that was 6 to 9, wasn't it?
Sorry, the
fringe,
6 to 9, yeah.
Do they have, like, I was just thinking in terms of some of the shows that we've obviously linked up with, I know some of them were a bit shorter, but I just feel like possibly considering extending the hours just to have that sort of flow-on effect from people that are leaving shows, so they still have that vibrancy out there for even if it's like half an hour after they leave, because I feel like having that connection instead of just walking out and it's already finished gets them talking to other people. You know, like they get to see what's going on instead of walking out to nothing. And then they talk to people and we might get some more people coming through because they go, oh, this is really good last week, I'm going to go back. Do you want to come with me? So I just thought, you know, if it's not just people going to an event, finishes at 9 o'clock and then they walk out and that's already over. So, yeah, just something to sort of maybe align with a little bit.
Yeah. Thank you. I think that's really good. The Mayor had suggested something similar to me, that we've got a couple of things sort of finishing at different times. There's kind of people coming and going as well, and being able to utilise that space. So when we get together and discuss it as a team, there's some of the things we'll be talking about, and we'd factor that into our planning if we go ahead again next year. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Councillor Small-Smith.
Thank you. Tom, the citizenships, as you say, are just fantastic, and they are a well-oiled machine, and I think it's really exciting to see the look on the faces of the conferees, especially when they come in their national dress and when they have a photo with the Mayor, although some of the children don't seem to like him very much. They won't smile. But it is lovely. It's a wonderful feeling to see these people so excited at becoming Australian citizens. So that's fantastic. And just on the Friday night, the fringe ones, I attended all of them, as you know. And while some of them weren't as good as the others, I think the heat had an awful lot to do with it. It was like 40 degrees at 6 o'clock at night, and people were more home with their air conditioners. But it was really great to see the activation there in the plaza, and I know Councillor Halls will agree with me on that. We thought it was just amazing, and I think every time we do it we should have the bubble lady, because the kids absolutely loved it. So well done to the staff on doing that, and it was a trial for us, but it just shows that we need more activation out in that Prince George Plaza. So thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Councillor Smil-Janic.
Thank you, Tom, that was great. Furthermore, with the fringe, it was great. I attended with my small children and I was actually quite surprised. It sort of included in the small businesses around, such as Faster Pasta, but it sort of was brought into this area as well, and the library was open and there was also activities happening in there as well. So it was a really well thought out event, and so thank you to you and the team, and I look forward to what next year may bring. I also want to state with Sala, I'm just so impressed and thankful that you have brought this on as part of our council. It's something that we've got so many talented artists around our area, and for them to get a function room or to have their art shown, some of the closest places were like North Adelaide, like it wasn't, because Salisbury might have been really booked or something on the lines of that. So, and they're also quite expensive. So to promote and show off our local artists and be able to subsidise and give a location for them to show their art, I'm just so thankful, and I look forward to promoting that.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Marsh.
Yeah, thanks. I do agree that it's probably worthwhile whining about. Activation was a new thing to this council, and I think we just wanted to really have eyes on to see the successful of a very small budget that you originally had, and we've sort of topped it up over years to come, and I think we can just let you go and fly away and actually have some ownership into that one and allow us to attend those where we want to. So I just want to congratulate your staff, and you're doing a great and incredible job for something that's very new to this city for us to have an all year round activation broadly across the city of Playford, not just in this central location. That's my only thing, is don't be so centred focused. We are abroad, but I don't need to say that. You tell us that enough, but well done to your team. I think you're doing a great job with a very small budget, and I love the craftiness that you're doing. It's not all about the numbers, it's about experimenting and seeing what works as well, so well done.
Great. Thank you. Kristen's here tonight, so she's heard your comments, which is great, and we'll pass that on to the team as well, so very much appreciate all the comments. Thank you.
Councillor Smiljanic.
Thank you. And I just forgot to mention with regards to, similar to Councillor Norris, I support the two meetings or updates a year. That's fine.
Okay, great. Thank you.
For me personally.
Okay, thank you. Any other? Sorry, Councillor Halls is always hard to see. Councillor Halls.
Yeah, I can't even see it on the dash here anymore. It's so white you can't see whether we're on there or not. Yeah, I was just wondering, Tom, it was a very good presentation. Thank you, and you've done well over the year with activations. Do you require the council to increase the funding for the next 12 months? When will you know?
I think at this stage we're still settling in. I think we're good for the moment. The general events budget, we're still working through the balance of doing some things like Barry Warren and some other park launches and those sorts of things. It's going well. I think we're well catered. If we're starting to push the limits, maybe that's something we could come back and revisit. Certainly in terms of the civic events we're delivering there, we don't want to deliver hugely more events. If we start getting that many more people in Fremont Park, certainly for carols, we'll start to struggle. So I think the budget is good for the moment. As those events, if we get to next year and we find that we get a lot more people there for carols, because it did grow significantly again this year, I think we'd come back and have that conversation with you next April and see if we need to. Thank you for the question, but at the moment I think we're fairly well catered for. Thank you.
And is it possible when we're doing events like the Fringe, that we utilise our banner poles in Elizabeth Way and Main North Road to have fringe events and the dates they're in Playford?
I think there's potential to do that. Probably sits more with Bree's team more than mine. I'm not sure if you'd like Bree to answer that question, or we can take it on notice and come back with a response.
I'm happy to take it on notice.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just wanting to utilise those poles. They're up there. I get really cross when I see them empty 12 months of the year when we have so many functions on and we're not being vibrant in promoting anything that's happening on those poles. We may as well use them or pull them out if we're not going to use them. So, and they certainly need an upgrade anyway. But I just want to see us using them. And I know there's issues around that, but, you know, we need to do things. It's like the display boards that we've got. You know, as long as they're changed quickly for the events that are happening, instead of sitting there for 3 weeks after the event's finished and it's still advertising Anzac, you know.
Okay.
Thanks.
Any other questions? If not, thank you very much, Mr. Madigan. Thank you. All right, moving on to 6.2, capital projects and update. Ms Janie Mitson, Mr Matt Deneen and Mr Greg Patterson. Thank you. Oh, Matt's away. Okay, thank you.
Evening, Mayor and Councillors. So the purpose tonight is to provide an update on a range of projects that are at various stages. So I'm going to talk about a couple that are in definition stage, and then Janie will present the majority of the other projects. So in terms of master plans, I thought I'd give you a brief update in terms of the development of the Elizabeth Oval Master Plan. It's been a while since we've been to the Council to provide an overview of a master plan. There's a range of issues identified at the last time we presented. Administration been working through those issues, trying to seek clarity. Probably a key step was actually we held a workshop with Central Districts Football Club a couple of weeks ago, had all the key players from council, including Sam and the CE of Central Districts Football Club, had a really productive session and probably resolved the majority of issues. So we're in the process of updating the master plan post that workshop, and we're coming to an information session in May to provide a detailed overview of that, with Centrals as well. With the aim of finalising the master plan with an agreed position with council and as well as central districts for that, and bring it back to council in June for formal endorsement, and then there'll be a range of activities to progress that after council's considered it formally. The other project I did just want to raise, and it's very early on in terms of the process, it's in the definition stage, is the Heaslip Road upgrade. So I suppose we're looking at the opportunities around improving the public realm on Heaslip Road between Fred Road and Severio Road. In line with the upgrade of the Heaslip Road, which has been identified within the growth deeds for Anglevale. We're currently quite early in the process, and we've been project scoping, doing some preliminary investigations, looking at the best way to engage consultants, and we've also been working with DIT to understand how they want to be involved in the project and the potential contributions they'll make to a project over time. So really, we're looking to develop some concept designs in the coming months, continue our engagement with DIT, come back to council and present those options in preparation for going out to community broader consultation. I suppose just to put that in context, the communities for a whole range of measures has been providing feedback on the quality of Curtis Road, and we've got a pretty clear understanding of their desires. So certainly our view is we've got enough background information to develop concepts, but certainly want to engage with council before going out on a broader engagement process.
Thanks, Greg. So for this year's program that we have in planning and design currently, we have the Dwight Reserve Change Rooms project. This did receive $500,000 in Office Rec and Sport grant funding. So this project has the objective to upgrade the change rooms to ensure compliance with guidelines and also provide accessible amenities for both genders, on top of improving car parking and stormwater management. Where we're at with this project currently is the design contract was awarded towards the end of last year in October, and design is well underway. However, where we are at the moment is we have currently put detailed design on hold. What we're intending to do is an options analysis. Having identified that the existing club rooms are up for renewal next financial year in the 25-26 annual business plan, it would be remiss of us not to explore whether a better outcome is not to combine those things and have a combined facility rather than the two separate buildings. So Plan A is currently on hold while we work through that. We're having the architect do some renders and also exploring whether that even actually fits on the site. So we will provide that, we'll get that feedback over the next couple of weeks, and obviously we'll engage with the clubs at the right time and again with council. The Sheedy Road upgrade, so you may remember we allocated the supplementary local roads grant allocation to this budget review too in 2024, so just over a year ago. Project objective is to upgrade the eastern side of Sheedy Road from a rural to urban standard, including mainly shared use path, a small section of footpath, curb and gutter, pit and pipe stormwater system and road lighting. The aerial at the bottom of the slide shows which side of the road the footpath is intended to go on. So the small section on the top is the only bit that's actual footpath. All of the other sections are full shared use path width in that design. So where we're up to is detailed design was finished at the end of last year. We've recently engaged SA Water to commence their service relocation designs. And we also, last week, engaged Telstra to actually undertake their service relocation. So we will actually start seeing some works occur on site in that preparatory service relocation arena. So for next steps, last August we applied for the Housing Support Program grant. We did apply for the full construction budget as a grant for this project. We are still yet to hear an outcome either way as a result of that grant application. We were expecting to probably last calendar year. So the construction for this project is included in our draft 25-26 annual business plan, subject to grant funding. Mano Para Sports Ground. So probably our largest project to provide essential community sports facilities for the rapidly growing Mano Para. Obviously, you're aware that the Elizabeth Grove Soccer Club were successful in the EOI process, and we will, again, continue to support that club to transition to ensure that transfer is successful. So where we are at with the design for this, we are expecting 100% detailed design completion at the end of this month, and that's for stage 2, stage 1 being the kiss and drop, stage 2 being this section, and the 30% design, i.e. the overall site layout plan for stage 3. The planning assessment has been submitted and is underway. So really what we'll do now is, having included additional construction funding for this project in next year's draft annual business plan, subject to council approval, we will then call tenders on the 1st of July when the next year's annual business plan is approved. Linked to that one, obviously in construction right now, Mark Elephant Kiss and Drop. So works commenced just before Christmas. Ahead of our forecast, we weren't expecting to commence until January, and we are still absolutely on track for those construction works to be complete in July, as per the forecast when we first awarded the contract. Argana Park. We received a $1.46 million grant, again through Office of Rec, Sport and Racing. The project objective to improve safety, connectivity and the functionality of the site, and we're constructing shared use change rooms, oval lighting, a big car park upgrade and some footpaths and other pedestrian networking infrastructure. This one also commenced construction just before Christmas in December, and we are providing regular updates to the club now as clockwork fortnightly as per the recent council resolution. And our next steps is we are still forecasting completion for November 2025. We do have in a AMP program renewal of the irrigation of all the playing surfaces in this facility. That will follow the upgrade, and then we will stage them around the seasons of those sports. Kalara Reserve, $1 million from Office of Rec and Sport and $1.39 million in LRCI funding. So the purpose of this project to improve the amenity at the site and again maximise its use for flexible community activities and sports and enhance the site's appearance, providing a really high quality venue for all ages and abilities. We started works on site on this project last October. And similarly to the other sports venue upgrades, the tenant clubs continue to be kept informed regarding temporary relocations or alternate arrangements and access to the facilities. We are forecasting construction for this one to be complete in August coming. The building should be finished slightly ahead of that, but the remaining car parking and outside activities we're expecting to be fully complete by August. In next year's draft ABP, we do have a proposed project for the repurposing of the current facility, so when they move over to repurpose that current facility into a community facility proposed for 25-26. The McGilp Recreation Park, again, $1.5 billion in grant funding through Rec and Sport, with the objective to increase McGilp Recreation Park's use for sport, recreation and school and community activities. What we've constructed there is new change rooms. There's a very large extension to the playing surface, some stormwater upgrades, car parking, recreation areas, etc. We also started on site last August for this project, and we are forecasting construction to be complete across the next few weeks. So we are anticipating this project to finish a few months ahead of schedule. It was originally forecast to finish in August of this year, but we are hoping to bring that forward quite significantly. Because it has finished early, the planned playground renewal associated with the upgrade that we had originally planned for 25-26, you did approve in Budget Review 2 for us to start that earlier, so we have ordered the play equipment. Again, very long lead time for that stuff, it's 12 to 14 weeks, but we'll be able to finish that renewal part of the project in August rather than only commencing in July. Also in next year's draft annual business plan for council approval is the design of the footpath outside the school, so One Tree Hill Primary School. Currently there is no footpath outside the school there, so that's in next year's annual business plan to really round out that project. Park Road Drain, $2.632 million in grant funding from the SMA, with the objective of protecting housing and horticultural land in Virginia from flood damage. So where we're at with that, detailed design is complete. This project, you'll remember, is the one that has the 7 sections. It's sections 3 to 7 that are in the current programme of works. So the detailed design for sections 3 to 7 is complete, and the land easement that we need over for section 5 has also been agreed. SAPN have completed their relocation works in section 5, so that was altering the depth of their conduits across Virginia Main Street, which is great. And also really recently, earlier last week, Telstra completed their relocation works in section 3 as well, so that they commenced that during the school Christmas holidays, and they completed that piece of work last week. Council did approve the additional construction budget for this project a few months ago. So to that end, we have gone to tender. Construction tenders closed about 3 weeks ago. So the next steps for us is we will complete the evaluation process and award the construction tender. Also in next year's draft annual business plan, we have included to recommence the detailed design for sections 1 and 2 of this project. For the 24-25 footpath programs, there are 3 programs. There are new footpaths, renewal footpaths, and streetscape upgrades in Playfoot Alive. So across those 3 programs, there are 36 individual projects for us to deliver this year. Of those 36, 1 is design only, which will be tendered for construction next financial year. 28 of the locations are complete, and for the final 7, 4 of them are actually on site at the moment, and the other 3 have contracts awarded, just waiting for those other 4 to finish, and then they will take out the rest of the financial year for completion. Also, as you'll remember, we did apply for 4 grant opportunities with the State Bicycle Fund, and we were successful with 3 of those. We will do that again next year for the ones that are shared use paths and are applicable for that grant. Next steps for us, we're shortly about to commence the planning and scoping works for next year's program. There are 56 locations in next year's footpath programs. Full disclosure, 1 of them is complete because we were on the same street doing the other half, and it seemed a waste opportunity and more disruptive to the community to not just keep going. So we have already completed 1 of next year's proposed footpath locations. In the road programs this year, we have 71 individual projects to deliver, 56 asphalt, 11 spray seal, and another 4 asphalt roads, which again are part of the Playfoot Alive streetscape upgrades. Of those 71, 3 are design only this year, which we will tender for construction next financial year, and 2 are roundabouts. So per previous presentations, anything that has the word bridge or roundabout in it is going to be a multi-year project from a renewal point of view, so those 2 roundabouts will carry over to next year. We still have 3 roads on hold, waiting for third parties to finish their works, SA Water and developers. The good news around that is that SA Water are actually on White Parish Road at the moment, so at some point we will have that reinstated, and then that can be released from hold for us to do our renewal. Supple Road, which has been on hold for a while, was recently released from being on hold, so we're about to tender that job. So of the 71, 50 are already complete, 10 are either underway or have contracts awarded. And you may remember we were successful in winning a $630,000 grant from the Special Local Roads Program, which has offset Council's cost of renewal for this year's program. So next steps, as I said, Supple Road, we'll now go out to tender for the reconstruction of that, and we will commence planning and scoping for next year's program, the 25-26 program, which has a whopping 96 roads in it for next year. The Playfoot Communication Boards, there are 2 programs for this year as a result of a council motion. There are 20 locations where we are installing chat boards. The first one, really our prototype one, was installed at Peerless Reserve in January, and we do have designs for further 13 all complete, and we're expecting to take delivery of those signs later this week, actually, and then we will have our city operations team start installing those from the week after onwards. Next steps for us, or final steps for us, are to complete the designs of the remaining 6. The reason we haven't done those yet is because they are at playgrounds which are in this year's programme, being upgraded or renewed, and we just want to make sure that nothing changes. Obviously, you can tell from the pictures, the chatboards have got very specific icons on that relate specifically to the facilities and play equipment in that park, so we just don't want to pull the trigger too soon, just in case anything changes during the design programmes for the ones which are in build. And then just to finish off, we'll just celebrate some wins. So works that we've completed since our last quarterly update: Homestead Drive new footpath. This project was to install a footpath on the western side of Homestead Drive, adjacent the Gloaming Reserve upgrade. Just would like to say that even though this is one of the probably lowest cost and apparently simple projects that we deliver, installing new footpaths in a street that doesn't have one is actually one of the most difficult activities that we do. You can tell from the photo, people on the street took a lot of pride in their verge. There was a lot of landscaping, there was some letterboxes in the way, there was a lot of work that the team had to do to make that happen in a really kind and appropriate way for the residents. So my team did want to pass on their appreciation to our 3 ward councillors for that project, who we really did appreciate your support in talking to residents and helping us to navigate through that. It really is a difficult gig, retrofitting footpaths. The Penfield Road, King Road intersection rumble strips. This was again in response to a council resolution to install rumble strips on the King Road approaches to Penfield Road. I have left the design kind of graphic in here because I was wondering if people actually knew what rumble strips actually were. So what they are is basically a rougher patch of bitumen that's supposed to give drivers a kind of sensory and auditory clue that something is changing, and hopefully get them to look at the signage approaching the intersection. So they are just patches of rougher spray seal as you approach those intersections. So I've driven through that a few times. I think that's quite effective. I think it's working quite well so far. Smithfield Memorial Oval, so one of our AMP renewal parks and sports field programs. So the objective for this one was to replace the medal, soldiers and picnic settings. We are quite proud of this one. We had a new design for the soldiers that was very well consulted. We think they look absolutely terrific. We also recently replaced the vandalised picnic setting with a DDA compliant one. And it's always a relief when you have a hard target, i.e. Anzac Day in the Memorial Oval, and we managed to get all the works completed with our delivery partners in time for that. Sandford Reserve upgrade, this actually was completed on Friday. So the objective of this project was to improve the amenity of the reserve for the local community, increase tree canopy, upgrade the irrigation, plant more plants, and we've also installed a new pathway and a bench and some informal rock seating. The picture in the bottom left is what it looked like before. So as you'll be aware, we were going to remove the end-of-life play equipment, and we haven't replaced play equipment at this park. The nearby Pete Smith Reserve had an enormous upgrade last year. Lots of opportunities for play equipment, basketball, etc. So the outcome of this project was to turn this park into a quite green space without the play equipment, but that was finished on Friday. And then finally, Ridley Reserve softball lights and dugouts. We received a $400,000 grant through the Office of Rec, Sport and Racing. This project went on for a really long time. It had a lot of issues in terms of supply. We had to wait a really long time for SAPN. We've also managed to combine this project with one of the sports minor works projects for this year, which was to add some dugouts to the facility as well, which again we managed to achieve prior to the hard target date of a tournament that they were holding in February. And just because I really like it, that's the drone shot of the completed and lit up project. So thank you. Any questions? I need Tom's slide about, do I need to do this quarterly or only twice a year? Do I have that slide? Put that one.
Yeah, Councillor Norris.
Thank you. I have two questions, if I may, on different things. The first one, just in regards to the Garlic Park project, and I know there's a whole bunch of stages, but do we have plans to renew the playground next to the change rooms?
Not in this stage.
Not at the moment. Yep, that's what I thought. Second question that kind of arose when you spoke about renewing the soldiers at Smithfield Memorial. Have we considered possibly then donating the old ones to the RSL?
They were pretty bent and vandalised.
So they're not salvageable?
Not really.
Okay, thanks.
Councillor Smith.
Thank you, Jodie. That was really fantastic. Lots of information. I'm just wondering, and I'm sure you are aware, that Newton Boulevard will be open, the extension will be open within the next couple of weeks. And I really think that that's going to be fantastic when the Kiss and Ride is done as well, to try and alleviate some traffic. And I know there's a lot of people out there saying, oh, you know, it's not going to do any good, but I think I know better. I live there and I really do. But thank you so much. It's really good to get all of that information. And I wasn't aware that we were going to change the soldiers. So are they still made out of tin? Or are they something different?
No, they are. They're the same metal construction, but they're thicker. So what we did find with the original ones is they were too easy to bend. So
Right,
these are much thicker, so they're a bit more vandalism resistant.
Yeah. No, you've been doing a lot of really great work, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Councillor Carlson.
Thank you. The playground at McGilp, will that still be fenced?
Yes.
Cool, thanks.
Any other questions? If not, thank you very much, Ms Mitson and Mr Patterson. Much appreciated, thank you. All right, moving on to item 7, informed actions. There are none. Moving on to number 8, confidential matters are nil. Thank you very much, everyone, for your attendance this evening. Much appreciated. And I'll close the meeting at 8:17 p.m. Thank you.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.